Yo guys, Theo here on Common Sense. Today we're gonna be talking about bodybuilding for overweight people. So I put out a video this week that was called Why Fasting is Not Enough, and I made a few different points. First of all, most likely just fasting and losing weight won't be enough for you to reach your ideal body composition and physique goal. If you lose fat, you'll just be not fat, but it's actually having some muscle mass that gives you that nice and tight shape to your body. And that's true whether you're a man or a woman. But also, a lot of people that have gotten overweight due to a sedentary lifestyle and crappy diet, they have such low metabolism that at a certain point, it's just going to be very difficult to keep losing weight by just taking the fasting and diet approach to things. And so weight training is one of the best things you can add in here because first of all, gaining more muscle mass, building muscle will raise your metabolism. Muscle tissue demands more energy and you will actually burn more energy all the time, even as you sleep. Just gaining muscle mass will make you burn more energy, but also if you're not very adapted to weight training, it takes a lot of energy for the body to build that muscle. And so the more overweight you are, the easier the body can actually use energy from your own body fat to build that muscle. Like the fat won't turn into muscle, but that's protein, but it can actually use fat as fuel, your own body fat as fuel to build that muscle. It can actually therefore aid you in the weight loss. So in this video I got a question or a request on the video from Courtney, who says, "Hi Theo, thanks for the video. It made me decide to do bodybuilding too. I have a video request, awesome by the way, but I have a video request to talk about how to build the best routine for weight loss and bodybuilding for someone with morbid obesity, more than 100 pounds overweight. Thank you so much." And so this is very much appreciated because, you know, I know a lot of things about this, but sometimes, you know, when you're into something or you're dealt with a client or something with a certain problem, then yeah, it's easy to like, oh yeah, this is something to talk about. But sometimes it's like, what would you need to know, you know? So it's very helpful. So I will, when I get requests like this right now, I will just make the video as long as it's like relevant to the things I know and I can see myself do a video about it. So please keep it coming. And I want you, on all levels, I want you all to take the bodybuilding pill now. I'd love to make content like this for like a beginner, but even for you guys who maybe are, or girls who are already kind of into this and want to take it to the next level, you know. So please keep the requests like this coming. So again, it's when I make a video like this, I'm not exactly sure where to draw the line. What should I include? What is like how do you say it in English? But overcourse, you say in Swedish, like too much at the moment. And so I've just written down a list of the most important things, and you're just gonna have to ask questions in the comments if there's something that's unclear. Maybe I can answer you directly in the comments, or that will even lead to another video. So that's how we're gonna do it. So first of all, she mentioned morbidly obese people there, but the routine I'm gonna describe here is gonna work for everyone that's like skinny fat to overweight. It's just a question of how aggressive you can be with the weight loss side of things, with the fasting and diet. And obviously, the more overweight you are, the more aggressive you can be with fasting and diet. So I'm going to assume now that other people could have use for it, even if you have some knowledge before, but I'm going to assume that you're a complete beginner. Just focus on what you would need to know to start doing something like this. So I'll start with the training side of things and then get to the fasting and diet side of things at the end. So if you're a beginner, overweight, and you want to start doing this, I'd recommend full body workouts because, to be honest, full body workouts structured in the right way you could make progress with that for a really long time. And I could absolutely maintain my current progress on like 2 full body workouts per week. So 2 is not going to be too much for almost anyone. That's why I recommend 2. And eventually you might want to go up to 3 workouts. So the point with this is, of course, we want to stimulate the whole body. And yeah, it's going to be non-specific. The full body with no certain, like not prioritizing any certain muscle group or whatever, you know. And so for a full body workout, what you want to include is 6 movement patterns really. So you would most of the time want to start with the lower body, the legs, because you know you can move, it's the strongest body parts, it's going to take the most energy. So you want to start with that when you have a full tank, you know, at the start of the workout. So we want for the lower body a squat movement and a hip hinge movement. And so the squat movement is a lower body movement when the main thing that's going on is like that the knee flexes and extends. So just think, you know what a squat is, you know, a body weight squat, or with a bar here, or you're holding a kettlebell or whatever. But even a lunge is considered a squat, or something like a Bulgarian split squat when you put one foot up on something behind you like a bench and just squat with one leg at a time. Then we want a hip hinge movement. There aren't quite as many variations there, but basically like a deadlift or a Romanian deadlift or a hip thrust. Then for the upper body, what we want is one horizontal, I always do this, a horizontal pulling movement. So think of like a barbell row when you're standing and pulling a bar towards you like that, or a seated row when you're sitting down and have a cable pulling towards you like that. And then we want the vertical pull, so pull-ups, but obviously not a great option for an overweight individual. But I mean, I guess there are assisted pull-up machines, but it could also be just a lat pull-down where you sit and pull and handle down to you like that. Could be could be some kind of one-handed row like that too. Just think of the pattern, you know. And then we have the same vertical and horizontal, but pushing. So a bench press would be the easiest example, but even a push-up, you could have a dumbbell presses, you could have a machine, and by the way, that you could have, of course, for the pulling movements, so just pulling machines on these angles. A machine like a chest press machine. And then for a vertical push, you want something like a shoulder press with a bar, but it could be with dumbbells too. It could be a machine. But there you have the different movement patterns and some examples. I'll write in the comments just like a sample workout that you could do. So let's talk about warm-up. To be honest, warm-ups are kind of overrated. Like because it depends so much on, for instance, if you get like right out of bed and to the gym, you'd probably need more warming up than if you had been out and about for a whole day, moving around, you know, and then get to the gym. But if you want to do some kind of general warm up, just elevate the heart rate a bit and get a little hot, you know, just do 10 minutes on some kind of cardio machine like a stationary bike, cross trainer, treadmill. That will do the trick. And then it just makes sense on most exercises to do 1 or 2 sets at lower weights than you'll be using for your working sets. Working sets are like real sets, not warm-up. And I'd recommend 3 to 5 working sets per exercise. Ideally, especially as you're a beginner, it's good if you can, when you figure out your current strength level and can use the same weight for every set, because it's just easier to quantify that way. Like if you do 5 sets of 5 on a squat and you use 40 kilos, the next time you just add the minimum and you do it at 42.5 kilos, and then the next time you do it at 45, and so on. But as you're a beginner, it's not that it's wasted if you do a set and realize that maybe I can use a little bit more. So if you end up doing different weights at first, that doesn't really matter. But the goal should be to figure out a weight that you can use for all your working sets and then add the minimum. And I'm going to talk about that in a bit too. And so I'd recommend for this kind of routine to use like between 5 and 12 repetitions for the exercises. And you can think like this. If you use free weighted exercises, it's that's when it's better to be. It's not that it wouldn't work to be in the higher end, but that's when it makes sense to be on the lower side, like 5-6 reps on, say, like a bench press with a bar or a squat with a bar. But again, not to say that you can't do higher reps. It's more that on machines, if you, for instance, would do a chest press machine instead of the bench press with a bar, that's when you'd like to put the reps on the higher side of things. What more do we have here? Yeah, well, you log the workouts. You have to write them down so that you know what weights you used. And then all you have to do is apply progressive overload. Like, how can I do more? Not always necessarily maybe between every single workout, you know, but the trend should be that you're moving up. And it's not easy to just remember all the weights, so you should put them down. And even if you do working sets that you end up using different weights on, you should put that down too. And maybe you can see say I'm making up an example now. You do the squat, you decide to do 5 sets of 5, and on the first set you use 40 kilos, and you're like, you know what, I can probably add 5 kilos, and you do that, and I can probably add 5 more. Then you get to 50, like, okay, this seems like a reasonable level, and you do 3 sets at 50. Then maybe your goal the next time is like, okay, I'll do all sets, working sets at 50 kilos, and then the workout after that, you add a minimum, do 52.5 kilos, and so on, you know. And I guess there's a lot of Americans watching the kilo. It doesn't really matter. You understand the principle of adding weight, you know. Yeah, but that's basically it, you know. And to be honest, you could get away with, as a very beginner, you could have, even if you do 2 or 3 full body workouts per week, you could absolutely get away with doing the same exercises. Like just for fun, even it can be good to have some variety in there. But if you found like, I like the squat, I like the Romanian deadlift, I like my chest press machine, I like shoulder press with dumbbells, I like seated row with a narrow grip, and I like a lat pull down with a wide grip. You know, this is a good program for me. That you could, for a very long time, just keep doing the same program and just make sure that progressive overload is happening. Progressive overload needs to happen. Like if you're a complete beginner, yeah, you could just go randomly train for a few workouts, but at a certain point, pretty quickly, you have to increase the demand on the body so it actually knows that yeah, it actually needs to adapt. And if you just do the same thing over and over, the body's going to be like, oh, we're exercising, that was fine, no adaptation needed. You have to increase the demand over time. But so to the diet and fasting side of things, well, I do recommend an intermittent fasting routine with 1 to 3 meals per day. How many meals you eat, of course, I mean, it's like you could do the calorie deficit is going to be the most important thing. You want to, at the maximum you want to eat is your maintenance calories. And the more fat you have, the more overweight you are, the bigger of a deficit you could get away with. So you want calorie deficit with high protein, because the protein is what we can't just... We don't store protein in our body like we store carbs in the form of glycogen and fat as body fat. So the protein needs to be high. Protein you should be aiming for is basically 2 grams per kilogram of your ideal body weight, because just having more fat doesn't make you need more protein. So use your ideal body weight. It's not going to be, you know, 10, 20 grams here and there. It's not going to matter too much, but so use that, and that would be like a gram per pound of ideal body weight. But then it's like up to you how aggressive you want to be with a deficit and how many meals you eat. Like this morbidly obese person, like 100 pounds overweight, 1 meal a day on a big deficit but enough protein, they could definitely lose fat very quickly and build muscle at the same time. So yeah, no, you know, it's because you could do it in so many different ways, but which maintenance is absolutely the highest, you know, you should be doing. And the more overweight you are, the bigger the deficit can be, as long as the protein is high enough. And let me think. Yeah, what was I thinking? Yeah, and like, no matter what person you are, most likely you should be seeing that even if you build muscle at the same time here as you're losing weight, most likely you should see the weight go down on the scale. Like if you are skinny fat and really not very fat, it's just that you don't have much muscle at all, and so you look kind of soft, then yeah, that kind of person might not be able to tell what's going on with their body by just looking at the scale. You'll have to look in the mirror and see what's going on too. But for most people that do this kind of routine, you know, we can put on much more fat than we can put on muscle, and we can lose fat much faster than we build muscle. So for almost everyone, you should be seeing a negative trend there on the scale. So let's get to the prolonged fasting side of things. If you watch my video, what was it called? My favorite snake diet routine for everyone, or something like that. I'm not a huge fan of chaining fasts back to back, because I think it's not sustainable. I think it can shut down your metabolism. I think it's... yeah, it's not my favorite. So I like Something like a weekly fast is the most aggressive routine I'd suggest for someone, 48 to 72 hours. And so I'm not going to tell you to do that like once per week. You could choose that yourself. It's going to be a boost to the fat loss. But if we talk about how we want to structure the fast in combination with the training, so you could fast whenever you want to, of course. But if you want to like optimize what you get out of the training, think like this. When we go and train in the gym, we give the body the stimulus to build muscle, but it's not actually training in the gym that builds the muscle, right? We break it down and give the body the signal to build it back stronger. And so protein synthesis is elevated for like 24 to 48 hours after a resistance training, weight training. So of course you could have a workout and then have a meal and then start a fast. But if you want to like optimize, so you have time to like reap more of the gains you could from that workout you did, you might not wanna, you might want to train and eat on that day and then have the final meal on the next day before you start a fast. Yeah, that would be the most optimal way to just, it's not that you would lose muscle or anything from the other thing. You might even gain something from that too, but I'm just saying, if you want to optimize it. But you know, it depends on how aggressive you want to be with weight loss too. And think of it like this. If you, losing weight, if you really want to try to lose it faster, then maybe you have to prioritize this fast. And look, if you miss a workout because, you know, it interferes the fasting, you can't get in the second workout if you do the fast. It doesn't work out with your life or whatever. Then just as long as you then, when you break the fast and go back, you just keep training and eating enough protein, then you wouldn't have lost muscle then. So think of it that way. It's just keeping this pattern going. You're going for your 2 to 3 full body workouts. And if you have to skip a workout because you're fasting, that's fine. Because you could train on the fast. It's my experience that if you train like at the end of a 48-hour fast, many times you still have glycogen left, you have energy to give, but longer than that, often it will take a toll on the workout. It's funny with fasting, you're basically as strong, but you have much less stamina. You will just die out quicker in the workout. And think of it this way too. A lot of people think they have to eat something before they train, you know, but it's mostly psychological. We just as a car doesn't need to be tanked every time you've just taken it for a little ride. Us humans are the same. It's more important to eat after you've trained, because that, again, we break muscle down in the gym. We've given the body the signal to build muscle, and now it needs the building blocks in form of protein. So I think that's where I'll end this video. Like I said, I'll just write a sample workout in the comment section, but then you can keep your questions coming, and as I said, I can answer some of them directly in the comment section, and maybe some of them will lead to other videos. So please, if you please comment those things, your questions, and please like. All comments and likes help support the channel, so I appreciate it a lot. And please subscribe for more content about fitness, fasting, losing weight, building muscle, reaching your physique and life goals, other uncommon sense takes on a bunch of things. Okay guys, I'll see you later. Peace.